Hello, thank you for joining me again. What I'd like to show you in this film is how to modify a floor in order to incorporate a ceiling that would be much more, in a way, reflective of the way it would be in a typical residential design. Revit architecture comes with a ceiling command which allows you to put in a drop ceiling, which would be more appropriate for maybe a commercial design. But what I like to do in this film is show you how to modify a floor in order to incorporate a ceiling into that floor. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking that 10-inch joist floor with the wood flooring on top and put a ceiling on the bottom of that in order for that ceiling to be either in the basement or in the first floor, depending on which floor we actually put that new floor, that modified floor in. So this is this. What we have is our first floor. Let's take a look at the structure of what we have in our house so far. Go to our section view and take a peek at it. We have our first floor, second floor, and a roof defined. We don't have our basement defined here. So we'll probably put a slab on the first floor, and I think for this example I'll probably put in a floor for a second floor. And you'll notice that the walls go up to the second floor level. And remember, when we put in floors work their way down. So again, to look at this, what you have is a wall. You have your room bounding, and here actually you can see it vertically as well as horizontally. That's a wall. This is a wall. This wall here is a wall in profile. And of course, that's a wall on end that we're looking at. But you notice that all the walls actually go up to the second floor level. When we put a floor in on the second floor level, it's going to go to that plane that represents that line, where that line represents that plane of the second floor. It's going to build that floor down. So here comes the conflict. When we build that floor down, it's going to ask, well, what do you want to do with these walls? You can tell it to take those walls and incorporate them into the floor, or terminate them into the floor. And that's typically what we do. We're going to have those walls terminate where that floor starts. So we're going to take a look at that here in just a minute. Let's go to our first floor. And we're not going to put in our floor here, so let's go to our second floor actually. And let's put our floor in here on this one. So go to the Home tab, go to the floor button. Oh, okay, let's save our project. Don't seem to save that enough, do we? And instead of our generic 12-inch floor, we're going to take a wood joist, wood finish floor, and make modifications to it. So we're going to go to Edit Type. And of course, we're going to duplicate it. We're going to keep the name pretty much the same, but instead of dash wood finish, on the other side of that, we're actually going to type in DW for drywall. You can do that in capitals if you like. So wood joist for the structure, and then wood finish on the top, drywall on the bottom, and then go to OK. And of course, once you make a duplicate of something, you have to go in and change some of its features to it. And we're going to add something. So we're going to go to Insert and actually put it in the right level. But remember, if you wanted to move it up or down, you can do that by going to some of these buttons here. So instead of Structure, it's going to be Finish. We're going to call that Finish 1. Category, we're going to go down to GWB, Gypsum Wallboard, and go to OK and keep all those other qualifications. And typically, is ceiling, drywall is 5/8 of an inch. So 5 divided by 8, double quotes. And I believe in a scenario like this, if you just put 5/8 in there, it automatically remembers inches. So, oh man, it just doesn't like that. So let's put it in double quotes. That's probably a good bet to do that. In some instances, it doesn't remember inches. In most instances in Revit, it thinks in feet. Okay, so let's go to OK. Let's put in our floor. So with the second floor, what we'd like to do is have that floor terminate into the walls. We want to have that floor supported by the structure of the walls. So we're going to be careful what we pick here. So what we'd like to do is go to the core face exterior. If you can see that polar tracking line up top, that doesn't quite go out to the outside, but I believe it's going to go to the core face exterior, that wall that we built. And we're going to keep going around. And around and around and around we go. And if you get some of these wrong, that's okay. You can go back and edit it and clean it up. So I think all of our corners are good, except for this guy. We don't have a line there, so that completes it. I don't think there's anything else additional we need to do here. So let's go to the green check mark. And then it's going to ask us, would you like walls that go up to this floor level attached to its bottom? Yes. And the second question, the floor overlaps the highlighted walls. Would you like to join geometry and cut the overlapping volume out of the walls? And that is yes too. So this way the interior walls will terminate at the bottom of the floor, right where the drywall is, and then the floor itself will terminate into the structure of the exterior walls which support it. And go to yes. Alright, so let's go back to our section view and take a look at that. So there's our floor now. You notice right away that the walls that went up to that floor are now terminated at the floor, which is good. But let's get better resolution on this. Let's go to the one-to-one view, and let's increase our visibility and our view control bar down there. Let's reduce our visibility to medium and look at the components in there. So here's our interior wall. This isn't quite correct, but it does show the drywall terminating at the structure up here, and this drywall terminating at the drywall over here. Really what happens is that the ceiling drywall goes all the way to the structure of the wall over here, and then the drywall on this wall supports that. It just helps keep that in place. And then over here, if you look into the left-hand side of this wall over here, you can see the structure of the floor. The joist, the 10-inch joist over here, terminates right on top of the the structural member of the walls, a 5.5-inch stud, or the 2x6 stud that's supporting that floor is actually over here. So it goes structure over here to the structure of the floor to the subfloor back to structure again, and that's pretty good. And it actually terminates up here. It actually shows the subfloor up here, which is correct. And then the very top of the floor is actually this line up here. So that's the second floor level. So when it puts in, just to reiterate, when it puts in the floor, it takes the floor and goes right at that level and builds that floor down. Okay, I think enough said here. Thank you for joining me. You see me in some other films.